Genesis chapter 43. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said to them, Go again and buy us a little food. And Judah spoke to him, saying, The man solemnly protested to us, saying, You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. And if you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. And Israel said, Why have you dealt so ill with me, to tell the man whether you had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us strictly of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father still alive? Have you yet another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the boy with me, and we will arise and go, so that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. You shall require him of my hand. If I do not bring him to you and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For unless we had lingered, surely now we would have returned the second time. And their father Israel said to them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the first fruits of the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Perhaps it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go again to the man. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, so that he may send away your brother and Benjamin. If I am bereaved, I am bereaved. And the men took the present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin. And they rose up and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the rulers of his house, Bring these men home, and kill, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph said. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time we are brought in, so that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they talked with him at the door of the house. And they said, O sir, we indeed came down the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened the sacks, and behold, every man's money in the mouth of his sack. Our money is full weight, and we have brought it again in our hands, and we have brought down other money in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And the steward said, Peace be unto you, do not fear. Your God and the God of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out to them, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave fodder to the asses, and they made ready the presents for the coming of Joseph at noon, for they heard that he should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the presents which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them as to their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom you spoke, is he still alive? And they answered, Your servant our father is in good health. He is still alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom you spoke to me? And he said, God be gracious unto you, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels yearned toward his brother. And he sought a place to weep. And he entered into his room, and wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and controlled himself, and said, Set the bread on. And they set it on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians who ate with him by themselves, because the Egyptians may not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination to the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled at one another. And he took messes unto them from before him, but Benjamin's mess was 5 times as much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him.